When we win, we get it back, then we take it on back to a ladder so unbalanced. It's the Masochist challenge.
Loading in and going second here. Let's see what we're up to. Looks like it's going to be stun. Got the Messenger of Peace and the Dimensional Fisher. End phase, okay. Galaxy Cyclone, kind of huge, not gonna lie. I'll just hit one of the face downs, and then on my next turn, I can hit whatever face up. Ah, it's a runic card. Well, do I have a Link that is worth going into? Let's see if this is like a solemn. Gonna do Silhouette Rabbit just because it gives me more spell trap pops. They do a runic to the EMZ. That gives me an easy way to deal with that. I can't declare an attack, so set punishment, which seems pretty decent too, and leave it there. Haha, take your 100. I will attempt the Jiraigumo to get rid of one of the new sets. Golden Droplet. Okay. Tiki Piece, not bad. Continue to pop stuff with Rabbit. Let's see if we can start putting the screws on. Get rid of that Messenger of Peace. Smiting Storm. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of that guy. And they've had enough of that. Starting off the session right, 1 duel and 1 pack. Murmur of the Forest. We've got target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change that target to face-down defense position, then you can return all field spell cards on the field to the hand. So like Slow Book of Moon is the relevant part here. Not the worst card. Obviously, actual Book of Moon would be so much better. Amazoness Chainmaster, Kerzeb's the Gowled Glutton, a generic rank 7. 2500 defense for that random Regenesis Warrior. Once per chain, when a normal or quick play spell card is activated, quick effect, you can attach that card on the field to this face-up card, and if you do, this card is unaffected by that activated card. During the end phase, you can set a spell card that is attached to this card. So good into Radiant Typhoon comes to mind, I guess Runic that we just played. Maybe not strong enough unless I am explicitly on 7s, you know, like on some kind of Kashtira thing. Battle Wasp, Azusa, the Ghost Bow, Contract with Exodia, Backup Rider. I think this is okay. Target a face-up monster on the field. It gains 1500 attack until the end of this turn. You know, technically, if I was doing some kind of weird Mikonko strat or something, I could make one of their monsters gain attack, but probably we're a bit beyond normal spell speed, you know, spell speed 1 attack boost. Blackwing, Boreas the Sharp, And Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. Reveal 3 Ice Barrier monsters with different names in your hand, then target a card your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, special summon an Ice Barrier monster from your hand. Not great even in a dedicated Ice Barrier strategy. Murmur of the Forest could be interesting in some decks, like if I can get on, I don't know, weird flip control kind of stuff maybe. But yeah, overall pretty filler pack. Let's keep on going. All right, won the coin toss here. The opponent is on 40 in the main, 2 in the extra deck. Not much to do in this opening hand, so I will put out Ascended Thunder. I don't even know if Clockwork Knight is fully worth it here. They could have a Harpy's Feather Duster, but, you know, just for the potential to floodgate certain strategies, gonna try it. Normal Hyperia. Okay. Probably not Sprite, given the lack of an extra deck, so I'm curious what we're going for here. Maybe this is like an Exodia thing? Cup of Ace. Cards, please. Boo. End phase. 7 cards in hand. What are you getting rid of? An unexpected die. You're about to unexpectedly die. Alright, I guess I just try to end this duel before they draw Exodia? Maybe? See, I've got 7,300. I don't know. If I flip this up, I get 7,800. Off the top of my head, I don't think I have a way to get to lethal damage. Do they have any stall cards for their Exodia? Doesn't seem so. I suppose I'll do Silahat just in case I need to pop something either monster-wise or back row-wise. Seems like they're not doing much regardless. Seven cards in hand. It's got to be something playable there. Unexpected die. And hand destruction. Sure. Sending a hand destruction and a jar of greed. Why didn't they set that? Leg. Night Flight. Returning it to the hand. I mean, do they have it? That would suck. Lightning Rod Lord. We're going to the main phase 2. Come on, give me cards. Thank you very much. Scoop. There it is. We're keeping it going, 2 for 2. But can I pull something, you know, maybe some more Infernobles? I'd love to. I almost have something playable, or like Fire Warrior Slop or something. Zoa the Fiendish Beast, so a Metal Morph card. If your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. And then if this card is in your hand, you can special summon it in defense position. Then if Max Metal Morph is not in your graveyard, your opponent can special summon one monster from their hand. During your main phase, you can set a Metal Morph trap from your deck. You know, I would need max metal morph or the normal metal morph even. And then there's the like max metal morph version of this guy. That would be, you know, a very nice payoff. That one is like a pop twice per turn. It's a start. Insector Earwig. Number 104, Masquerade. Seeing a lot of play, obviously, in K9 decks lately. I don't know if I have the C104 that they, you know, do like the Nash Knight overlay with. But this can be used as a searcher for a 7th Tachyon as well to grab a light monster. So definitely good to have in the collection. King's Synchro, Sun Avalon Bloom, Clara and Rushka, Ventrilla Duo. It is a Link-1, and sometimes that is useful by itself. The material is just a normal summoned / set monster. Cannot be Link summoned except during main phase 2. So you can't use this on turn 1. But if your opponent goes first, obviously, you can normal summon something, go to the battle phase, main phase 2, you can link whatever that thing was off. I would love to, like, this is like the worst version of like Salaman Great Almirage. Potentially has some applications though, I won't lie. Generator Boss Quest, not my first of these. I do have 2 of the field spells, and I think either 2 or 3 of the main deck monsters, so with some consistency tools like Planet Pathfinder to search the field spell, or 1 more copy, that does become more and more playable. And another copy of the old Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Really need to pull that Blue Eyes White Dragon out of the Legacy pack, but you know, there's maybe some stuff brewing there at some point. All right, so decent enough pack, 1 to grow on. Let's get back on that ladder. It has been a few duels, but I finally hit the 1-2 combo of winning the coin toss and going first. See if I can profit. Getting the Imperm on the Terratop. Love to see it. I will normal summon this little dude just to get into Elf, Elf into Gigantic, into something, I don't know. We'll see where the night takes us. Oh, they do have the Ash Blossom for that. Well, hopefully Clockwork Knight, Floodgates, whatever they're on. I see they're on Dragon Maid Sleeves and the Mate. So maybe Clockwork Knight is a pain for them. Tidying won't do anything. I wasn't planning on activating those effects this turn. Okay, we have 2 machines on their field. Lady. Lady Summon. It's the green one, and I think I'll just blow it up here. Oh, they have Lorpar. Get another lady. Okay, that's the tidying set, which of course doesn't do anything. They will get to shuffle back to fuse the show. I think I get to beat over the show anyway. Or Shio. Shiu? Joe? I'm going with show. Another lady. They were just too annoyed and left. Okay. While I did have a way to beat over the show, I don't think I had that one in the bag by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, if an opponent wants to rage quit, I am happy to take that dub. Skull Guardian, classic. Checkmate. Tribute an Archfiend monster, then target one Terror King Archfiend you control. It can attack directly this turn. Awful. Virtual World Gate, Chuche. I think a second copy of that. That would take a lot of cards to get anything going for Virtual World, but I did really love Virtual World back in the day. Hound the Testina, second one of those. Feast of the Wild, LV5. Steel Swarm Genome, Spirit Illusion. Equip only to a level 5 or higher fiend or zombie. When an attack is declared involving the equipped monster and an opponent's monster, you can make that opponent's monster lose attack equal to the equipped monster's attack. Fair enough. You can activate one of these effects. Fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. Nice, it's a poly. Special summon a doppelganger token, level 5, with the equipped monster's type, attribute, and attack. That is honestly fairly decent for fiend and zombie stuff. I don't think I have anything in that category to make it work, but you know, if I can think of like an extra deck monster, you know, like a synchro fiend or zombie perhaps, this would be potentially playable. I like that it's a poly just in general. And Guiding Ariadne, a counter fairy card, I believe. Pendulum effect, you do not pay life points to activate counter trap cards, so solemns are free. And you do not discard to activate counter trap cards like many of the old cards required. And then the effect on the field, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can reveal 3 counter traps from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest back into your deck. I guess if I can get like a critical mass of decent counter traps, I do have, you know, like anti-spell card counter traps and like Solemn Scolding where it has to be the only one face down. So I have some stuff in that vein, but not enough to get a counter fairy deck going. Pretty mid pack, but you know, we'll keep going. All right, going second this time around. The opponent's on 41 and 15. I technically have a hand trap, and with Lilybell plus Carrot, I have a game plan once I get to go. Looks like we're doing Inspector Border shenanigans. And I imagine we probably have some kind of a solemn situation in the back row there. Well, let's see if I can perhaps get to a situation where I can activate an effect. They held on that for quite a while, so I imagine this is going to be some kind of a solemn. I guess we have to let them do it. Go ahead. I know you want to. They did not activate it, so I'm going to chain on. I'm going to set and activate Tiamatron in hand. Activating Metaverse. Interesting. What are we grabbing? Dark Sanctuary. Okay. So I gotta take my 50-50. Tails, please. Ah, it is heads. They lucked out. Well, might as well summon something with more attack than that thing. There's probably a better way to play that. I just kind of assumed that my plays weren't going to go through, but I'm sure there was a way around it. Setting 1. Defense mode, sure thing. End phase. Alright, I guess I'll Jiragumo. Might as well. Okay. That does open up the board for monster effects. Grab carrot, little spell trap negate. Send it of thunder. Smack him in the face. Hat Rabbit to do spell trap pop shenanigans. I'll just go for my highest attack one. No, Tiki Curse might have been the move, actually. And I'll leave it there for now. Let's grab another monster. Just not in the Jiragumo zone. Pop the new set. Yep. Skill drain, yep. The Mises Elephant. Ooh. I'll leave it there for now. Get to pop the field spell, hopefully. Screw you. And let's do Little Knight to snipe that last back row. Can't attack directly, but it don't matter. Their move, if they set a spell trap, I pop it. Yep. Slow and simple. Okay, let's see what we can get for defeating, I'm gonna call it like stall burn, but not really. Kind of stun, I guess. Assault Slash, second one of these. Bujin Regalia the Sword. Target a Bujin in the graveyard, add it to the hand, or target a banished Bujin monster and send it to the graveyard. Sure. Cyberse Integrator, interesting. A Cyberse Synchro. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can special summon a Cyberse Tuner from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Cyberse monsters. If this synchro summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. That might be nice for that effect. I don't know. I guess you could just kind of summon this thing and not use the on summon effect if you just wanted the way to make a synchro 3 and then eventually draw a card. Nice to have in the collection in case it enables some kind of combo. The Fabled Nozuchi and Secret Six Samurai Kizaru, Galaxy Mirror Sage, Dream Mirror of Chaos, and Tuning Gum. A Fiend Tuner, you can target a face-up monster you control. That face-up monster is treated as a tuner this turn, and you can only attack with synchro monsters during the turn you activate this effect. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly one synchro monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation. You know, kind of old school card, of course. I don't think it's good enough even in like a dedicated synchro deck. Just the normal summon is too precious. So once again, I think we are still on the hunt for better cards this episode. All right, going second, I think for the third time in a row. The other duels were like Elf Note and Full Power branded, so they're not going to make the cut. Oh, maybe fourth time in a row because there was like a cool tune in there. The hand here is like serviceable. It does stuff. Really just depends on how high power those sets are. Torrential Tribute, pretty nice if all else fails. I guess I will Light Stage. Canopic Protector. That's interesting. So Canopic Protector is going to once per turn summon different Horus names, but they of course don't have the continuous spell. I do need to get rid of the Happy before the set card leaves the field, or he just gets to add it back with Happy effect, of course. Alright, here's the Spell Trap Negate, or whatever that last card is. And here's a little draw for you. I mean, that's fine. That's +1 either way. Mr. Gigantor Sprite, kill this man. By which I mean, you know, summon a guy. Link off. And then Soul Scissors. Kill the Happy. Let's get in some damage. Yeah, that's fine. All right, go away. Second imperm, okay. Technically, if they're bricked up and I just don't activate any cards, they can't bring back Happy. Yep. Yep. All right, for defeating the bricked horse player, can we reverse this episode's luck and get something good? Blackwing Tornado the Reverse Wind, not exactly what I'm looking for. Sargasso Lighthouse, what are you? When a spell effect that would inflict damage to you is activated, you take no damage. Yikes. While this card is in your graveyard, you take no damage from the effect. of Sargasso the DD battlefield. Oh, okay, so it goes with that field spell, I think it is. When this set card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Sargasso the DD battlefield from your deck to your hand. Okay, well, even with all that, pretty terrible. True King Agnimizud, the Vanisher. So the Fire True King. If this card is in your hand, you can destroy 2 other monsters in your hand and or face-up field, including a fire monster. And if you do, special summon this card, and if you do that, you can banish a monster from your opponent's field or graveyard if both the destroyed monsters were fire. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can add a non-fire worm monster from your graveyard to your hand. Ultimately, probably not that playable for me. Maybe this goes in the eventual Fire Warrior stuff, I guess. But also notable that it's a worm in case I can get on Sword Soul stuff. Wind Witch Snowbell. If you control 2 or more wind monsters and no non-wind monsters, you can special summon it from your hand. A wind synchro monster that was summoned using this card as synchro material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So there is like the Wind Witch synchro package. Pretty outdated, I think, at this point, but it does see some play in like Speedroid, I think. So not a terrible pickup if I can get together, you know, enough of those cards to make something happen. Red Eyes Fusion, shiny Red Eyes Fusion. I will have to go and check the collection, but I'm almost certain that I do not have a target for this. And obviously, I don't have like the Red Eyes Black Dragon. So this is unfortunately probably not playable, but it is exciting to see just, you know, the thought of maybe at one point just hard summoning, or not hard summoning, but just doing ref and getting a Dragoon out. Interesting. Machina Cannon. Cannot be normal summon set, must first be special summoned from your hand by sending 1 or more other machine monsters from your hand to the graveyard. Gains 800 attack for each monster sent to the graveyard for the special summon. So, you know, just a tidy little Earth Machine extender and potentially getting a beneficial monster in the graveyard. Not terrible for like a low rarity Machina card. BES Big Core MK2. If you control no monsters, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If it's special summoned, place 3 counters on it. Cannot be destroyed by battle, which is nice. At the end of the damage step, if this card battle, remove a counter from this card, or if you cannot, destroy this card. So unless you special summon it, it dies after the first battle. And Metamorphosed Insect Queen. Cannot be normal summon set, must be special summoned by a card effect. If another insect monster is on the field, your opponent cannot target insect monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, so potentially nice for the insect pile. I think there's like the quick play Cocoon card that maybe can summon this. Not sure about other ways that you cheat out an insect monster necessarily. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can tribute a monster. This card can attack an opponent's monster again in a row, and once per turn during the end phase, you can special summon a token. Pretty decent. So, you know, I would say that this is a step in the right direction, Master Duel. This is a step in the right direction, but we could go further. We could go so much further. Going first, and the opponent is on 60 and 15 with the scary World Championship sleeves and whatever. Someone who takes the game seriously. See if we have any responses there. It doesn't appear that we do. I'm gonna gamble that retaliating doesn't do much in hand against them. And I will instead link off into the rabbit, which probably also doesn't do very much against them. And let's hope for the best here. Maybe Trap Hole Nightmare negates a White Albaz or something, but if they get a fusion in the graveyard, it's probably over regardless. Evil Hero, a Dusted Gold. Okay, I was not expecting Hero on 60 cards. I think with the most recent support, they're usually on 40. Could be wrong. Dark Fusion to fusion summon a Fiend Fusion monster. And the Crimson Gaia. I mean, I guess I'll pop that. Because my pop is on a new chain, I unfortunately can't just wait for them to activate the effect. Gotta do it now. Rotary. They're playing every card. This is why you can't have extra normal summons, man. Especially not the 3 that Cool Tune get. Let's try to pop this Rotary. Hopefully with the 60 cards, this will be enough to do it. Super Poly. Super Poly. Sending a Sinful Spoils card. Hello, what is this deck? I guess it's with the rabbit. Also pretty annoying that they got the Super Poly, which is a 2 of on a 60 card deck. And here I get to just sack them. So we know the level 2 tuner in hand. Last card is unknown. That's probably the level 2 tuner. If it gets into the graveyard, they get the spell, which I would really not like them to have. What is the last card in hand? Is it an Ash Blossom? Is it a Maxi, since we know they're pulling Broken in their 60 card deck? Or maybe not. They're pulling every engine under the sun. I'm gonna go for the SP line to banish that monster so that it doesn't gain the effect. Oh, okay, they've seen enough. Okay, for beating the every engine deck, can I pull every engine? B-Trooper Scale Bomber, not a bad insect card. If an insect monster is normal or special summon, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, you can tribute an insect monster, destroy it. So it's either an extender or a kind of ghost ogre at home. Not bad. Mutant Expansion. Infinitrack Trencher. Wow, more Earth Machine stuff. You can tribute an Earth Machine monster, special summon this card from your hand in defense position. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a level 5 or lower Infinitrack monster in your graveyard except Trencher, special summon that monster in defense position. Pretty darn good for Earth Machine. Lifeless Leaf Fish, water stuff. When this card is summoned, you can send a fish monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Lifeless Leaf Fish. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 3 fish monsters in your graveyard, shuffle those monsters into your deck, then draw a card. Pretty decent for fish decks, either Water Xyz or Goatee. Resurrectic Mechpolar. Do love the Space Bears. They're, even when you have it constructed with like 3 of this thing and all the counts of other monsters that you want, it's just not a good deck. The card economy in the deck where you have to tribute other monsters in hand, just kind of terrible. So unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be playable. Dragon Collar Magician, a pendulum. For the pendulum slot pile, perhaps? The pendulum effect. Once per turn, you can target a face-up monster on the field. It becomes dragon type until the end of your opponent's turn. Cool. And when it's on the field, once per turn, you can make this card become dragon type. A monster that was fusion, synchro, or Xyz summoned using this card on the field as material gains this effect. If this card battles a dragon-type monster, this card's attack becomes double its original attack until during the damage step only. I mean, you know, it's a scale. It's maybe got some utility, but dragon effects, not the best. Trickstar Kolchika. takes one non-link Trickstar monster, which I am running Lilybell. You can only special summon Colchica once per turn. When a monster is destroyed by battle involving your Trickstar monster, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, then target that destroyed monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's attack. Pretty decent simply because I could, potentially normal or special that Trickstar, get another extender involved, link with this Link-1, and then linking into SP, I get the banish effect off of 2 materials instead of 3 materials where I'm having to link into something else and then link into SP. Not terrible, not terrible. I don't know if it deserves a space in the extra deck though. I'll have to think on that one a little bit. And finally, that's funny. I just pulled 104 earlier. So now I have the C104 Umbral Horror Masquerade. So if I can luck into, the Nash Knight, the Sea Xyz Nash Knight, technically that gives me a path to this. It's pretty difficult to do otherwise, but kind of funny that I pulled both in the same session. All right, not bad, not bad. Okay. Loading in, and the coin flip has blessed me this time. They are on 40 with 8 in the extra deck. No interaction for Hyperia. And they have had enough even at that. A real feast or famine kind of session. It feels like I'll slog through trying to fight against meta decks and the duels are too long, can't be included, and then I'll just normal summon Hyperia and they'll scoop to that. White Lord, one of the Skull Servant cards. If you have Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servant, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Skull Servant and King of the Skull Servant cards in your graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servant in your graveyard, special summon it. Pretty decent, but of course there's a lot of cards you need to play Skull Servants. Mutant Blast. Allaire the Ogdoadic Dark. If this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute a monster, special summon this card. Then your opponent can add a monster from their graveyard to their hand. If this card is special summon, you can target 2 of your banished monsters, including a reptile, return them to the graveyard. Not terrible for like a low rarity reptile, but probably not playable without a critical mass of the Ogdo stuff. A second Mech Knight Indigo Eclipse. It is nice to have another Mech Knight, especially just having the level 8 can maybe get me into more rank 8s down the line. So I'm glad to see another one of those. Not sure if that changes the math on actually running the Mech Knights again. Grandpa Demeto, sure. Flamvel Counter, also fine. Another Infinitrack Crab Crane, not my first of these. You can tribute an Earth Machine, special summon this card from your hand, and you can banish 1 machine monster from your graveyard. Add an Outrigger extension from your deck to your hand. Not sure if I have the Outrigger extension. I don't think I do. Last card, Kazajin. Apparently not my first of that. Still waiting on any of the newer Gate Guardian fusion monsters, because technically I do have a lot of the Gate Guardian pieces. So if I could mill those, that could be something. But anyway, another, okay pack. I'm happy to see more Earth Machine stuff in particular. Nothing that's going to change up the current deck. Okay, the coin flip is mine. And I'm going first against Joel Wick, John Wick's pacifist cousin. All right. Normal Hyperia. This resulted in a scoop last time. Not so much this time. And that's literally my only play. So setting my traps, and I do have a hand trap. I've got retaliating, so we'll see if that gets me anywhere. New frontier. Sure. We are going up against lore. We must defeat the concept of lore. I'll be on the Shrouded Dragon effect in hand to send the White Albaz to the graveyard. Maybe they have a monster like Cartesia that can summon itself if there's an Albaz in grave. Yeah, I'll retaliating. Do it under macro, coward. I mean, if they were gonna fuse it, it would, of course, banish things anyway. But now, they can't send from the extra deck to the graveyard, so they can't use White Albaz effect. So they will banish. Not using Albion effect because Albaz is banished, I suppose. Okay. Hilarious zone placement. I put Prey of the Jiragumo in the EMZ, hoping for this payoff. You will be banished. I will defeat lore. Storytelling. The lore is defeated. I have succeeded. Okay, I think for beating Branded, even if it wasn't like an optimal build, I think I've earned some juicy pulls. Gishki marker is maybe like juicy if it was like a real creature, but not what I had in mind. Seal Strategist for hire. During your main phase, you can special summon a monster for hire from your hand, except Seal. If a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can target a monster for hire in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Slowly adding more of these for hire cards. Real quick, why does he have the dogs out? Why is it for free? Etc., etc. Let's keep going. Satellar Knight, sure. A Battle Wasp Sachi, apparently not my first of these. So I guess I am getting quite a lot of low rarity insect synchros. It's unfortunate that I think most of them are not all that impactful. Yeah. Yeah, not impactful. Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. You know, I have pulled the Rainbow Dragon. I pulled the fusion monster that requires Rainbow Dragon, but had essentially no Crystal Beast monsters. So this is a nice pull in that regard. I would need a lot more, but of course, out of the old Crystal Beast monsters, this is probably the best one. Striker Dragon. Wow. If this card is Link summoned, you can add a Boot Sector launch from your deck to your hand. Not sure if I have it. I'll have to check. You can target a face-up monster you control and a rocket monster in your graveyard. Destroy that monster on the field, and if you do, add that other monster from the graveyard to your hand. Pretty decent pickup. And of course, just being able to have a Link-1, a way of getting a monster from the field to the grave, is often pretty decent. The card where that comes up with here is the like level 1 Red Eyes monster. It's not actually named Red Eyes, but where it's, you know, you normal summon it, link it off, and then it adds a Red Eyes card from deck to hand. I don't think I have any of those, but nice to see that we're slowly building towards some kind of like rocket or dragon link thing. Sword Soul Emergence. Wow. Decent card. Very decent card. I have a level 6 Long Yawn, the one where you pitch a different worm or sword soul from hand, and then you can special summon it, make a Synchro 10. I don't have any, you know, powerful Synchro 10s, I'm pretty sure. So How useful this is, I don't know. If I ever pull a Taya, that becomes a different story, because Taya, you search with the emergence, then Taya banish emergence, and that immediately gets you either into a Synchro 8, or emergence, of course, modulates levels up or down 1. So that gives you a whole range of options. Really great pickup, wow. And the new Evil Twin card, Link-1's galore this session. Evil Twin Kiss a Kill Deal requires 1 Kiss a Kill monster. You can send a Lilla from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Then each time your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Kiss a Kill or Lilla monster effect activation, draw a card when that card or effect resolves. Pretty sick. And, it's a light fiend, of course, so that really binds together the whole, Evil Twin Fiendsmith stuff, if that ever happens to come out. Really crazy pack, honestly. Just a whole bunch of different archetypes that become maybe slightly more possible with just a few more pulls. Alright, I think I have a few more duels in me, but man, this would have been a great one to end on, actually. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, going first, which is very good for me with this hand. Lord. And then I guess I'll just set 3. I need a way to discard for Dinomicious, and I'd rather be able to summon Lord. Please Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster right now. They have their own Lord. Dark Sanctuary again. I mean, I guess I'll Tiki Curse. Lord effect. And what can I set? Fusion Destiny seems pretty good. Normal Retaliating. Make Redoer. Do they have a Solemn? They do not. Redoer effect, get rid of that field spell. Or stack it on top of the deck, rather. And let's try for the Fusion Destiny here. Hopefully they don't have Super Poly set. I'm gonna chain on, use my turn player priority. So even if they have Super Poly, the effect will still go through. Chain Link 2, so if they set something juicy, I'll just pop it. And the Max C. What? I just summoned so many times. Chain Strike. Okay, man. Magic Cylinder. Okay, so I'll destroy the other thing. Good thing I did, because that would have been a real issue. Okay, let's Dinomicious their Lord away. They can't yet activate Magic Cylinder. And I can just pop it with DPE, presumably. Do they have the dragon in hand? They do. Okay. Sure, whatever. I feel like with DPE resolved and Redoer, they're going to have a hard time. They need to dragon me over and over again, basically. Let's apply DPE first. Just in case they lucked into a call by. Yeah. Correct. Okay, it is that time in the session. I have 20 legacy packs here to open up, and then we'll do the final master pack for beating the burn deck, I guess. Here we go. Okay, Cloudy and Turbulence, a Wake Cup card. Nice. Flip, you can send face-up cards your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number of flip monsters you control. If this card is in your hand, you can discard one other flip monster. And if you do, special summon this card in face-up attack or face-down defense position. During your end phase, you can target a flip monster in your graveyard, special summon it in face-down defense position. So pretty decent pickup if I'm on flip control. Not bad whatsoever. Hidden Springs of the Far East. Once per turn during the main phase 2, the turn player can activate this effect, so can't use it turn 1. They gain 500 life points, and until the end of this turn apply these effects. The normal and special summons of their monsters cannot be negated. If they activate a spell trap card or monster effect that includes an effect that special summons a monster, that activation cannot be negated. Their opponent cannot target set spell traps they control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by their opponent's card effects. That's pretty gosh darn strong, so if you are on a going second deck or a going second build that, you know, doesn't necessarily care about the battle phase somehow, you can just go battle phase, then go to main phase 2, activate this, and then you have a lot more ease in doing your setup. Interesting card. Transmigration Break. Any card that would be returned to the deck from the graveyard are removed from play instead. Anything else here? Random Dogmatica card. The only thing notable here is that it is kind of an extender. If a monster special summon from the extra deck is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. I don't think anything of the other... If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special a Dogmatica. So of the low rarity Dogmatica, like old stuff, not bad. Soul Exchange. Okay. Don't know how that escaped my attention. Target a monster your opponent controls. This turn, if you tribute a monster, you must tribute that target as if you controlled it. So with like True Draco, for example, that could be playable. Not as good as the new version of that card, Spell Card Soul Exchange, but still decent enough. Silent Sea Nettle for the fish stuff. If you control a water monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You cannot special summon monsters except water monsters the turn you activate this effect. And you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target up to 3 water monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. So, you know, mostly good as a little extender. What are these other cards? This is like a lot of readable and potentially usable eventually cards. Oh, it's a Quackimero card. Okay, I'm going to skip that. Commander of Swords. When your opponent draws for their normal draw in their draw phase, they reveal the card they drew. Then if any is a spell trap card, apply one of these effects. Discard all cards they drew. And destroy a spell trap card they control. So you do have to go first to profit off of this, I guess, but not the worst card out of the legacy packs. Get a random artifact. Looks like we got some Performapals that would maybe round out that strategy. A Moki Moki, my first Moki Moki, nice. Tribute Doll for making tribute summons less costly. What's Give and Take? Special summon a monster from your graveyard to your opponent's side of the field in defense position and increase the level of one monster you control by the level of the special summon monster. Meh, maybe there's some silly things you can do with that. But anyway, pretty cool seeing the Wake Cup card and this interesting field spell. Maybe that's playable at some point. On to the Master Pack. Okay, can we finish out the session strong? It looks like we will be getting an ultra rare, which I don't think I've seen many this session, but can't really complain after the last few weeks of ultra rares. Okay, Wallow, founder of the Drudge Dragons, 2+ level 6 monsters. Quick effect, you can target a card in your opponent's graveyard and attach 1 or 2 materials from this card, then activate the appropriate effect. 1, return it to the deck, and 2, if it's a monster, special summon it face up or in face down defense position to your field. If it is not a monster, set it on your field. Pretty decent. Obviously, you have to have 2 level 6s, which is a tall order for my card pool. But, you know, kind of a DD Crow or something to steal. Crystal Rose. Comics Hero King Arthur, 2 level 4 warriors. If it would be destroyed by battle, you can detach an Xyz material instead, and if you do, it gains 500 attack, and if it does, inflict 500 damage. Sure. Little warrior Xyz, why not? Snopios, a goatee card. Go with some of the other water stuff. During the main phase, you can banish 2 fish monsters from your hand and or graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can target a face-up card on the field, banish it when it leaves the field. So, you know, technically, you can summon it and then tag one of your opponent's monsters to ensure that it does not hit the graveyard. If this card is banished, you can banish a fish monster from your graveyard, add this card to your hand. Obviously, best in like dedicated goatee strategies. Interesting card nonetheless. The Weather Painter Thunder. I maybe have like 1 or 2 weather canvases, so this won't be very playable for me. I do like the Weather Painters just because they play in kind of a weird way. Just not playable right now. Let's take a look at these holos though. Evil Sor, Serato, one of the older ones I'm pretty sure. If it's special summoned by the effect of an evil tile, gains attack. If this card that was special summoned destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add an evil tile monster from deck to hand. Yeah, just very old school kind of effect there. Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow. You know, there's a lot of super heavies, so I certainly have pulled a lot of them. This makes there potentially some payoff here. Cannot be used as link material. While you have no spell traps in your graveyard, you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. If you have no spell traps in your graveyard, you can discard a monster, then target a super heavy in the graveyard, special summon it to your zone this card points to in defense position. I'll have to look back at my collection. I honestly am not sure if I have any of the synchros, so like any of the like in-archetype payoffs for playing super heavy, but you know, getting a Link-1 obviously makes it something worth considering, worth digging into, so I'll do that offline. What is the final card of the evening, this ultra rare? Topologic Trisbane. Wow, okay. A Cyberse Link for the perhaps Cyberse Link slop. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, banish as many of those monsters as possible, also as many spell traps on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each of their cards banished by this effect. So, pretty decent. I don't know if I would run it outside of a link-focused strategy, but it is a way to do a whole lot of back row hate. The issue, of course, being that if you're up against a deck that cares about how much back row hate you can do, they're probably floodgating you from getting to this card. But either way, like a fairly strong card. All right, well, I would say that that was a pretty successful session. Added a lot of cards to the collection, a lot of things I need to dig into to see what else I can sort of build around here. But if you're enjoying the series and you want to keep up with it, of course, subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Have a great one.